Welcome to the Coach Podcast with Coach Keren Eldad. Settle in. We're about to make you feel really good.
Turn your wounds into wisdom. Oprah Winfrey. Welcome back to the Coach Podcast, where we dive deep into the fears and challenges that hold overachievers back and explore ways to overcome them for a more fulfilling life. I'm your host, Coach Keren Eldad, and today we are tackling a big one: the fear of making mistakes, the fear of making the wrong decision. As I've mentioned in previous episodes, this podcast is a prelude and companion to my book, GILDED, Breaking Free from the Cage of Ambition, Perfectionism, and the Relentless Pursuit of More. I can't think of an episode more along the lines of our title. I'd love you to read it, and you can get your copy right now on our website, www.breakfreewithgilded.com. How many times have you found yourself paralyzed by the thought, if I make a mistake or the wrong decision, everything will be ruined? This is a common fear, but it doesn't have to control your life. In today's episode, I want to give you some practice in the thinking way, the specific way that we teach you how to think in coaching that allows you to confront these feelings, work through them by facing the root fear, which is, of course, your fear of failure, and allow the good feelings you are actively avoiding. In case you are wincing right now, still, at this juncture, worrying that this episode will be a bit too emotionally charged or something, allow me to entice you yet again by wagging the carrot that always gets in your face. It's going to make you more successful. That alone should make you lean in and tune in. So first, let's talk about your terror of making one wrong decision and the cost any mistake will have on your life. And then let's talk about how to begin to drop that by shifting your perspective. Let's understand why we fear making mistakes so much. This fear, the fear of failure, the terror of making an error, often stems from a perfectionist mindset, a scarcity mindset, where any deviation from the plan feels catastrophic. It is also tied to the fear of judgment from others and a lack of self-confidence. But here's the truth. Everyone makes mistakes. It's a natural part of the human experience and a crucial element of growth. Now let's talk about the consequences of avoiding mistakes. When we let this fear dominate, we end up avoiding risks altogether. And this might seem safe, but it actually limits our potential. Avoiding mistakes means missing out on opportunities for learning and for growth. It stifles creativity and innovation, and it keeps us stuck in our comfort zones. So our way out is to reframe failure. How do we do that? It starts with changing our mindset about what failure means. Instead of seeing it as a dead end, I want you to see it as a stepping stone. Each mistake is an opportunity to learn something new, to improve, to build resilience. You might be thinking, Keren, I know this, but here's the thing. It's not enough to know this intellectually. You have to feel that failure isn't a thing, too. You have to get cool with the occasional fall. Now let's consider some strategies to help you reframe a temporary fall and do this instead. The first thing you can do is adopt a growth mindset. Embrace the belief that your abilities can be developed through the dedication and hard work of progress. This mindset encourages a love of learning and resilience, and that is essential for great accomplishment. It helps you get past falls and understand that falls are just a part of the process of growth or learning. Number 2, focus on the learning process. When you make a mistake, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Again, this shifts your focus from the negative outcome to the potential growth. And number 3, set more realistic expectations. Understand that perfection is unattainable. Strive for progress, not for perfection. Celebrate all the small victories and all the small improvements along the way. They are just as important as everything else. Some bonuses. Build some self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. Recognize that mistakes are a natural part of life and treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer a friend. As I've said here before, you're human, and that's the whole point. Learn to be human. To illustrate these points, let's look at some success stories. Many successful people have faced significant failures before achieving their goals. Think of Thomas Edison, who famously said, after blowing up his lab, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Or consider J.K. Rowling, and yes, I know she's controversial, but just bear with me for the example. Her Harry Potter manuscript was rejected by numerous publishers before it became a global phenomenon. 29 times, in fact. And the last one, The publisher who actually published Harry Potter famously sent her a letter saying something like, okay, we're going to publish your book, but you shouldn't give up your day job because you're not a good writer. To which I imagine J.K. Rowling said, hold my drink. Oh, and don't even get me started on the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan. I'm just going to say that his most famous quote is, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over again in my life. And yet, Michael Jordan is the greatest player of any sport of all time. There, I've said enough. When you reach the end of your life, God's not going to ask, what did you do wrong? He's going to ask, what did you do right? He's not going to ask, why weren't you more like Beyonce? He's going to ask, why weren't you more like you? I want to repeat that notion now so you can begin to contemplate things in the perspective of the fullness of life and of time. So you're able, like we said in the last episode, to be more honest. And so you're able to make mistakes with great grace. If you're not able to zoom out to the all-knowing perspective represented here by God, you will be able to begin to emotionally relax a bit at least, because you will naturally see a momentary lapse is not likely to result in a life sentence. You will also see in the fullness of time that worrying too much or assigning too much importance to a mistake drains your energy, limits your potential, and for no good reason. Remember, the fear of making mistakes is natural, especially to those who aim really high, but it doesn't have to define you. And it definitely shouldn't hinder you or spoil your ability to enjoy and expand your own success. By reframing your mindset around failure and embracing the learning process instead, you can turn all failures into stepping stones for success, and you can allow true joy. Thank you for joining us on this journey today and for this tiny little episode. If you found this one helpful too, please share it with others who might benefit, who might really use the important lesson of taking it a little more easy on themselves. And don't forget to subscribe for access to every episode in the Coached Podcast series and for more insights and strategies to overcome life's challenges. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep embracing the beautiful messiness of life.
Thanks for listening to the Coach Podcast.